This is Mercy Pilkington for GoodeReader at Digital Book World 2013. Sitting down right now with Richter from Ruckus Media, who's going to talk to us a lot about the...
There's a lot of new and interesting folks getting interested in playing in this space. So we began by doing an app at a time, single. Then we progressed to bookshelf applications where you could buy multiple titles within an application. And now we just launched what we call our mother app, which is roughly 100 pieces of content, interactive iReaders, which is a proprietary format, ebooks, video, and soon music. Really a digital superstore for kids. And the logic behind all of this is once we've won you as a customer, we want to satisfy you in every way possible. That's really where our forte is aggregating really great kids content. So we're certainly among the leaders in aggregating content and striking up these partnerships with folks like Houghton Mifflin and Hasbro and Crayola, really one-stop shopping for some really pretty terrific brands. And we do our own brands as well. We create our own content. So it's been an interesting experience. My background was at Simon & Schuster, where I spent over a decade running the kids program there. And it was pretty clear to me that this is where the eyeballs were going to go. The actual transition has been a little slower, I think, than most people anticipated. But I think we will get there. I would also encourage folks to not necessarily think of kids reading applications or ebooks as an either-or situation with print. Kids consume, they're omnivores, as we like to say, with media. They'll just as we ride a bike and we ride in jet planes, to do essentially the same thing, kids will read everywhere they can, and if we can make that a very engaging experience, why that's even better. So you see a lot of studies that compare print reading with ebook reading. I actually think it doesn't matter.
We're not there yet for kids because people were reluctant to hand over these expensive devices to their children. What do you think has changed that now that we're seeing such a sharp rise in content for children and book sales?
I think it's a combination of factors. That the price of the devices have come down. We're seeing second and third generation devices. So you have 30% of our audience after 90 days. That means kids are reopening applications and books that they get from us and re-engaging with them. So,
Time again, this is Mercy Pilkington for GoodeReader at Digital Book World.
Thank you.